What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a quick video. If you guys follow me on YouTube stories or Instagram stories, you guys saw that we were doing over 100 sublimation tumblers. I had a lot of people asking what kind of wrap I was using, how I was wrapping it, what kind of oven I was using. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on here, we're going to do a really quick video, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing to get this right here. Alright, so here's the printer that I'm using right here. I am using the Sawgrass 800. Since this printer has come out, they have come out with two new ones, which is the Sawgrass 500 and the Sawgrass 1000. If you guys are interested in a true sublimation printer, go down below. There'll be a link down there to Heat Transfer Warehouse where you guys can pick up either the 500 or the 1000. Alright, so as I was posting to YouTube stories and Instagram stories, I had followers asking what dimension, what size did I use to get this. So as you can see, here's one of them right here, and if I spin it to the back right here, you can see this is where the image comes together. Slight gap at the top, but for the most of it came out really good, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the size that I'm using right here. You could probably go on Etsy and buy the size, but I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm using so you can make a template for this in Photoshop or whatever you're using. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so the length that I'm using, if I put this to the edge of the paper over here and I bring it over here, you're gonna see it's slightly under 9 1/4, maybe 9 1/8, right? So that would be the length. And then if we come from the top to the bottom, we're at 8 inches. So 9 1/8, 9 1/4 to 8 inches. I would go, if I was you, this is what I would do, is go from here to here, maybe 9 1/4. Once you get 9 1/4, you'll have room to trim. If you do it exactly at 9 1/8, whenever you go to trim it, if you trim too much, you're gonna end up with a gap. So that's what I would do, all right? All right, so that's the size that we're using, right? Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our white sublimation tumbler. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put it on here. Next thing you wanna make sure you have is some heat tape. You could use regular tape, but if you use regular tape, sticky residue, keep this in mind, sticky residue is going to stay on whatever you put it on. Whenever you use this heat tape right here, the sticky residue does not stay behind on the actual tumbler. So let's go ahead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll this around here. What I like to do is line this up and then squeeze it together. Grab a piece of my heat tape and get it to put at least 3 pieces of tape on there. Alright, so here we are with our tumbler. We're going to get ready to go ahead and shrink wrap it, right? So we're using this white shrink wrap right here. You can find it over at the vinyl stand. We sell a 4-pack for $2. And if you guys are interested in these tumblers or these little, check these out, little wine tumblers. We got to decorate these too for 4th of July. So these also, we also have these over at the vinyl stand. All right, so what I like to do is I like to leave a little gap on the bottom of this so it doesn't crease up on me. If it creases up, you're gonna get little white spots down here. I'm gonna show you another way that I try to avoid that after we shrink it, right? So we're gonna take the shrink wrap, we're gonna put it over the cup. And then what I like to do is, I don't like to go all the way down with it like this, because whenever this shrink wrap shrinks, it's gonna touch the white. Whenever it touches the white and you go to peel this off, it's really hard to get off the white. So what I do is I bring it right to the edge of the cup like that, and I'll shrink this part first. So here's my heat gun, nothing fancy. If you guys want to pick one of these up, go to Harbor Freight. That's probably the cheapest place you will find them, maybe Amazon. But if you want one right away, go to Harbor Freight. All right, so with the heat gun, you don't want to leave the heat in one place for too long because you're going to make a hole in it, a hole in the shrink wrap, right? So you got to make sure you're constantly moving it. So you can have it on low or you can have it on high. However you do it, just be cautious because this thing gets really hot. So what you're going to want to do, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit this first, and it's going to shrink around it, and then I'll show you what I do after that. So first thing I'm going to do, heat the edge of it, all the way around. And now if we look, it's shrinked around this part. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it over like this. You have to be careful. And I like to go from the bottom up, all right? So same thing, watch your fingers because it's gonna be very hot. All right, so there it is with the shrink wrap, right? It's all your preference on how tight you want to get the shrink wrap on there. As you can see, there's a couple creases in here. It really doesn't have a lot to do with it all. You know what I mean? As long as the shrink wrap is on there and you don't see a whole lot of creases on there, you should be good to go. I like to hit the top a little bit more because of the creases. Again, I like to smash this down to try to get those creases out of it. Same thing with the bottom. I'll do that also. All right, and then as you're going through this, if you see any of the parts of this that you want to heat up again to make it a little bit tight, you know, it's all up to you. It's your preference. It's your tumbler. You do what you got to do for it, right? All right, so we are good. This little thing is going to do nothing but burn inside of the oven. So I take them off so that it's not on there. All right, so now we're going to take this to the oven. Let's go ahead and go over there. All right, so here is the oven that I'm using from Oster. If you guys are interested in this oven right here, the link will be down below. 400 degrees, we're gonna set our time. I do them for 4.5 minutes, and I spin them, I turn them every minute. Okay, so we're gonna lower this down to that time. Make sure you have something like this. Doesn't have to be a glove like this, but make sure you have a heat glove because these things get really hot. I'm gonna open this up. I have a couple of them already prepped, and as you can see, this oven, I can fit 3 of them in there with no problem. So every minute, we're gonna give it a spin. All right, so here's our first minute. It doesn't have to be a big spin, just spin them a little bit. It's all your preference. If you wanna spin them, spin them. If you don't wanna spin them, don't spin them. All right, so this is the last time I'm gonna spin them. I've spent them a total of 3 times, and we should be good. All right, so if you look on here, it says toaster, bake, broil, turbo convection, pizza, warm, defrost. The only one I use is because I use this for only sublimation tumblers is bake. They say you want to stay away from the turbo convection because if you turn on the fan is going to cause heat in one area blowing towards the tumbler, and you could cause it to burn. So use bake, don't use the fan, and you should be good. So we'll see how these come out whenever we take these out. All right, so one thing I like about this is whenever the timer's over, it turns off by itself. So all I'm gonna do is come in here, I'm gonna grab these tumblers, and I'm gonna stick them on top so that they can cool down. All right, so when you see something like this, whenever you're looking for sublimation, and you could see the image bleeding through the paper like that, it said that you got a good sublimation onto the cup. So we'll see. We're gonna let these things cool down a little bit, and we'll take them out. All right, so here we go. We got these. These are now cool to the touch. I'm just gonna simply start to take off the shrink wrap. There is the first one. So there's where I was telling you. Up here it was good. Down here it had a little gap, but that looks good. Let's do this one. Here's this one. And there's the last one. So these all came out good. And here's what I was talking about, leaving it off of the bottom just a little bit so you don't get no fading down there. But there they are right there. That's the shrink wrap that I used. The tumblers that I used. 4 minutes and 30 seconds at 400 degrees. All right, so that's it. I just want to take you guys through the process of these sublimation tumblers. Like I said, we're getting a lot of messages on Instagram on what type of tumblers, what type of shrink wrap, what type of oven I was using, the time, and the temperature. So you guys got to see all of that in this video. All right, so if you guys are interested in these tumblers, the shrink wrap, or those little wine tumblers, this one right here, there'll be a link down below for the vinyl stand. Go there, click the link, it'll take you to the website. You can see all the sublimation blanks that we carry over there. Right, so thank you guys for watching another one of my videos. Thank you guys for subscribing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, keep pressing.